prepared 3 slides. I don't think you need them. You can actually find all the information I was about to share with you in the report. So let me start. My objective over the next 15 minutes is to summarize as best as I can the research findings of the InPeace project. Let me start by saying that for me, doing research on the technical committees was absolutely, and I am not saying this lightly, revelationary. I have been researching different aspects of the Cyprus problem for the last 15 years. So when I started working on InPeace, I was rather taken aback by how few things I knew about the committees. And it's not that we, Fezile and I, knew so little about them, it's that everyone knows so little about them. These bodies generally seem to be shrouded in mystery. In order to fill this knowledge gap, we read every UN Secretary General report that was published from 2008 to today. We also conducted an extensive media review of newspaper articles that had been published on the technical committees in Greek, Turkish, and English. We read the very few academic articles that had been published on these bodies, and we spent a considerable amount of time on social media trying to piece together the activities of these bodies. And then, from 2023 to 2025, we started talking to people. Over 18 months, we interviewed 20 representatives of the technical committees, 10 members of civil society, and 27 other stakeholders who had benefited from the work of the committees or who had cooperated with the committees. We also organized 3 focus groups, one with Greek Cypriot representatives of the technical committees, one with Turkish Cypriot representatives, and the Bi-Communal one. In total, we had about 100 hours of conversation with 69 persons, 34 Greek Cypriots, 26 Turkish Cypriots, and 9 members of the international community. We put together everything we know on the technical committees in a policy report, which we published in Greek, Turkish, and English. We have some printed copies, they are very few. So we have some printed copies of the report here, but because we are being environmentally friendly, I encourage you to pick up a QR code instead and access the report electronically. You can find the QR code at the entrance. In summarizing the report, I will do 3 things. First, provide a brief summary of what the technical committees are. Second, mention some of their successes and challenges. And third, conclude with our recommendations. So, what are the technical committees? There are 13 technical committees, all of which have the same general mandate. This is to address issues that affect the day-to-day life of the people through encouraging and facilitating greater interaction and understanding between the 2 communities. So, simply put, to address everyday issues and to promote trust building. Each of the technical committees focuses on a different thematic area. So, we have technical committees on broadcasting and telecommunications, crime and criminal matters, crisis management, crossing point, culture, cultural heritage, economic and commercial matters, education, the environment, gender equality, health, humanitarian issues, and the baby technical committee that has just been created, the youth. All technical committees are bi-communal in their composition. They have 1 Greek Cypriot and 1 Turkish Cypriot co-chair, and a roughly equal number of members from the 2 communities. The co-chairs and the members are appointed by the respective community leaders, and they act in their personal capacity as volunteers. Due to the informal nature of the committees, there are no legal documents outlining their powers. You can, as a lawyer, I found that deeply uncomfortable, but it is what it is. So, no legal documents outlining their powers. It is unclear how their members are appointed or fired, and their decisions cannot be reviewed by any court, anywhere. The work of the technical committees becomes possible through the active involvement of the international community. Each committee has a facilitator who is appointed by the United Nations. The EU has a support facility that funds most of the projects of the technical committees, and the UNDP offers logistical support for these projects. This collaboration between Greek Cypriots, Turkish Cypriots, and the international community has produced concrete, positive results. For example, the Technical Committee on Education implemented Imagine. Between 2017 and 2022, Imagine made it possible for more than 6,000 students and 700 teachers to meet members. I don't think we need that. Honestly, I would prefer if people are looking at me rather than at Ziva's attempts to make the screen work. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So, for example, the Technical Committee on Education, as I was saying, implemented Imagine. Between 2017 and 2022, Imagine made it possible for more than 6,000 students and 700 teachers to meet members from the other community, many for the first time in their lives. The Technical Committee on Health has been running the mosquito project. This tracks non-native mosquitoes in Cyprus that could carry out dangerous diseases and tries to eliminate them. I'm telling you, when we interviewed the health people, I was freaked out for a week because of this mosquito problem. But it seems to be under control because they're doing a good enough job. The Technical Committee on the Environment has led discussions on how to address pest infestation affecting citrus and pine trees in Cyprus. It has also been organizing environmental events for young people and bi-communal visits for Cyprus, for scientists to environmental important sites. The Technical Committee on Cultural Heritage. It has restored more than 880 religious and cultural sites around the island. The Technical Committee on Culture has facilitated the return of 219 paintings to their Greek Cypriot owners. In turn, Turkish Cypriots were given access to material that had been prepared in Turkish for the Cyprus Broadcasting Corporation between 1960 and 1963. And finally, by way of examples, the Technical Committee on Economic and Commercial Matters has made it possible for Greek and Turkish Cypriots to share electricity at the click of a button. This is not a theoretical project. We share electricity between us regularly, at least once a year. People don't notice. We will return to why they don't notice in a while. So far so good. The technical committees have done important work that has made our everyday lives easier, and it has also contributed to better bi-communal relations. However, their operations are far from perfect. I will focus on 3 criticisms of the technical committees that concern 3 types of relationships. The relationship between the technical committees and political leadership, the relationship between technical committees and the international community, and the relationship between the technical committees and civil society. Let us start with the first relationship, that between the committees and the political elite in Cyprus. The most fundamental problem faced by the technical committees is political interference. For example, when Mr. Tatar was elected leader, he replaced almost all Turkish Cypriot members and stopped or delayed almost all of the projects of the technical committees. The most high-profile victim of this interference was Imagine, which has been suspended since 2022. It's been 4 months since Mr. Erhuman has been elected, and Imagine is still on life support. This is my very public nudge to both community leaders to get this started again. Lack of political support is not only a Turkish Cypriot problem. When the Technical Committee on Culture was set up in 2015, it organized a musical performance and a theater production at the Othello Tower and at the ancient Salamis Theatre, respectively. The 2 events were big successes. They attracted about 4,000 people each. We heard about 10 minutes ago about how successful this event, this Bi-Communal event is in terms of performance, in terms of attendance. There are about 70 of you here. There were 4,000 people in each of these events, okay? And yet, when the technical committee tried organizing another similar event in 2017, both its members and the event itself were viciously attacked by Greek Cypriot nationalists. That was the moment when Greek Cypriot leadership had to step up and protect the technical committee members. Crucially, Mr. Anastasia stayed silent. Moving on to the second criticism, which concerns the relationship of the technical committees with the international community. Although the international community plays an important role in the work of the committees, it does not have a clear vision of what these bodies are supposed to be doing. For example, one United Nations member we interviewed told us that the technical committees are about encouraging a solution to the Cyprus problem. Another member of the United Nations told us that the objective of the technical committees is to implement projects that make the lives of Cypriots more comfortable. Now you might be thinking, why is that a problem? Why can we not have two objectives operating at the same time? The problem is that the two objectives sometimes can go hand in hand, but other times contradict with each other. And if you don't know which of the two you're supposed to be working towards, it's very difficult to assess your success. The final problem we have identified concerns the relationship of the technical committees with civil society. In theory, civil society is a natural ally of the committees, and therefore it should be informed about their work and it should contribute to it. However, this is not happening. Civil society actors know almost nothing about the technical committees. They do not even know who to contact. They do not know who is a member of these bodies. Crucially, this is not an accident. It is a conscious strategy of the technical committees. So one technical committee members, and I am quoting, the more we talk about these very politically sensitive issues, the less we do about them. Another member of the technical committees told us, and again this is a quote, you shouldn't be bringing attention to certain issues if you want things to work. So, the technical committees have, on purpose, decided to stay silent. And this is how the technical committees and how peacebuilders on the island in general keep talking in an echo chamber. They keep preaching to the converted. I think that's a problem. So, what do we propose we do about these issues that we have identified? 6 things. First, I will be brief. You can find more detail in the report, which I strongly encourage you to read. So, first, avoid political micromanagement of the work of the technical committees. Second, come up with objective criteria for the appointment of the members of the committees and adopt more transparent processes. Third, clarify the specific mandate of each committee. In other words, be clear what each of them is supposed to be doing. Fourth, develop a common vision about the work of the technical committees among key international actors, and in particular, the EU and the UN. Fifth, come up with an effective communication strategy between the committees and civil society. And sixth, make at least some information about the technical committees available to the general public. This last recommendation, and I am concluding, I know I have 30 seconds left. This last recommendation has been an objective of the InPeace project itself. For this reason, we have already organized events and info sessions with civil society actors. We have presented the project findings in newsletters, in blog articles, in podcasts. We have invited all of you here today. We are also publishing 2 academic articles. One will be presented by Fazile in a minute, and the other conceptualizes the technical committees as engagement without recognition bodies. If you want, we can talk about more we can talk more about these articles during the Q&A. Thank you very much for your attention.